You ever stop and think about how, in a world that is just screaming for our attention, some brands manage to kind of whisper and we still hear them? I mean, they're everywhere, right? Your social feed, the Super Bowl. Companies are constantly trying to get through to us. So let's break down the art and really the science of how brands actually talk to us.
All right, so to kick this off, let's go back to one of the biggest marketing events on the entire planet, the 2013 Super Bowl. You've got 100 million people watching, the energy is just electric, and then boom, without any warning, everything just goes dark. So, right in the middle of all that confusion, the marketing team for Oreo cookies sends out this simple but honestly brilliant tweet. Power out? No problem. You can still dunk in the dark. I mean, think about it. Well, all these other multi-million-dollar advertisers were just sitting on their hands, totally lost. Oreo just seized the moment. It was fast, it was clever, it was perfectly on brand, and get this, it cost them absolutely nothing. It's a total masterclass in modern communication.
Okay, so what makes that Oreo tweet so impressive isn't just that it was clever, it's the sheer scale of the challenge it overcame. Because, the biggest problem for any brand today isn't just about getting your attention, it's about holding on to it against this tidal wave of competition. So, what's with this number? 5,000. Well, that is the estimated number of ad messages the average person, someone living in a city, is exposed to. And I'm not talking about a week, I'm talking about every single day. I mean, think about it. From TV commercials and billboards to pop-up ads and logos on your coffee cup, it is an absolutely endless stream of noise.
And this right here just shows you how much harder the job has become. I mean, go back to the 1960s. You could buy one ad on the three major TV networks and reach almost everybody. It's wild to think about. But today, with hundreds of channels, streaming services, social media, that big audience has just shattered into a million tiny pieces. The old marketing megaphone, yeah, it's pretty much broken.
This quote is over 100 years old, but it perfectly, and I mean perfectly, captures the modern marketer's dilemma. With so many messages and so many channels, how on earth do you make sure your investment is actually working? How do you find the right people with the right message at exactly the right time?
So the answer isn't to just shout louder. It's to be smarter. It's about using a whole range of tools. I want you to think of it less like a megaphone and more like a well-stocked toolbox, where every single instrument has a very specific job. In the industry, they call this the marketing communications mix. And here they are, the 8 main tools in that box. You'll see they range from the traditional stuff, like advertising and sales promotions, to the more experiential things, like events and public relations. And of course, you've got the entire world of digital marketing in there too. Now, the best brands, they don't just pick one. They mix and match them to tell a complete, cohesive story. Okay, let's look at an example. Take how Ocean Spray used that events and experiences tool. Instead of just telling you their juice comes from real bogs, they literally brought the bog to you. They built these miniature cranberry bogs right in the middle of places like New York City. I mean, how cool is that? It made their whole brand story tangible, authentic, and completely unforgettable. Then you've got good old-fashioned advertising, right? But done brilliantly. Dodge teamed up with Will Ferrell's character, the one and only Ron Burgundy, for a series of absolutely hilarious commercials. They used that humor and this beloved character to make their TV and internet ads incredibly effective. And it wasn't just for laughs. It led to a massive spike in both their web traffic and, more importantly, in actual sales.
And listen, communication doesn't just stop when you walk into a store. Not at all. Jockey, for instance, wanted to reach a younger crowd with its new line at Target. So what did they do? They used awesome in-store displays, eye-catching packaging you could actually see through, and even these clever little cards tucked into the pockets of jeans nearby. It's all designed to influence your decision right at that critical moment of purchase.
And sometimes, some of the best communication isn't about selling you a product at all. By sponsoring New York City's bike share program, Citibank basically put its brand on thousands of bikes all over the city. Now, this isn't just an ad, it's a public utility. It builds this tremendous amount of goodwill that's public relations in action, while also creating this constant, visible brand experience. Super smart. Okay, so we've got this amazing toolbox, right? It's full of options. But here's the thing. A pile of tools isn't a strategy. So how do marketers decide which ones to pull out and when? Well, it is definitely not random. They follow a strategic blueprint for every single campaign.
And really, it all boils down to these three fundamental questions. First, who exactly are we trying to reach? Second, what do we want them to do or think? Is the goal just to build awareness, or are we trying to drive an immediate purchase? And finally, this is the really creative part, how are we going to say it? Now, when it comes to that how to say it part, there are really two main paths you can take. You've got the informational appeal, which you can think of it as talking to your brain. It's all about logic, facts, features, performance, like an ad that clearly demonstrates how a powerful stain remover works. Then, on the other hand, you have the transformational appeal. This one talks to your heart. It's all about emotion, image, and the experience of using the brand. Think about all those ads that don't really sell a drink, but they sell friendship and happiness. So when you put all of this together, you've got the cluttered environment, this diverse toolbox, the strategic thinking behind it all. A very, very clear picture starts to emerge about what modern marketing is really all about. Yeah, the goal just isn't to be the loudest voice in the room anymore. It's not that simple. In a world of 5,000 daily ads, the loudest voice often just becomes, well, more noise. The real goal is something much more sophisticated. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. The goal is to move from a monologue, a company just shouting at you, to a real dialogue. It's about using all those tools we saw not just to sell something, but to inform, persuade, and build a genuine relationship over time. It's about telling a consistent and compelling story. So, the next time you see a clever tweet, or a funny commercial, or a big city event, I want you to think about the story it's telling and the tools it's using. Which brand out there do you think has mastered this art of conversation? It's a pretty fascinating question to think about as you go about your day.